Hey guys, welcome in. Today we're going to be checking out the CADIAN Castellan. I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on it and how good of a unit is it. Okay. With that being said, here the things I like to do is I like to go through the abilities, then look at the weapons, and figure out what is best suited for the battlefield. Now, I will say from the videos just prior, if you'd like to check them out, in the description below, we'll have the playlist for all the units for the Astra Militarum. And then if you would like to see gameplay, that's also down there. Also, don't forget, if this is something that does interest you, please take 2 seconds, hit that like, subscribe for more content like this, and comment. Do you like the Astra Militarum in Warhammer 40k Battlesector? Just to kind of say it too, a Castellan, if you guys don't know, it is more of a defense commander. Not the same thing as a commissar. I believe that when under authority of a region that she's holding, or that unit is holding, she ends up barking orders to the commissar. So she technically is a higher rank by that measure. Alright, with that being said, guys, let's start out with the abilities. Because it is an HQ unit, you do get some base abilities right off the bat. For instance, you end up with this well-ordered, which everybody in a line ends up getting a bonus. The bonus applied ends up being the voice of command. Units that start in the battle line receives +5 accuracy and +1 damage until the end of the turn. That is the bonus that you get from her. Also, you will end up with the same embedded officer as you would with the commissar. We talked about in the other video, but for the sake of going over it again, you end up with a +10 evasion for every unit that is around you, up to a stack of 4. Okay, so you can get a total of 55 evasion if you have 4 units around you. And actually, she has a little more evasion than the commissar at 10, and she ends up with evasion 15. The next thing, one of the really cool moves that she has is move order, and it's a cooldown of 2. And what happens is she can command somebody to move an extra space. This can be very good, and it may not seem crazy. What's the difference of one movement? One movement could be the difference of a flamethrower getting and killing 2 units on the battlefield. It could be the difference of lining up a shot that gives you an accuracy from 50 to 70 based on terrain and so on. It could get her in, or get somebody in better position for a charge. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity with move, even if you may not see it right now. I found in battles that this has come in clutch. And then the next one here, one of my favorite abilities throughout all the HQ here, is Bring It Down. This is so stinking amazing. Affects a single target enemy within 4 tiles, -2 armor, -10 evasion, and expires after 2 turns. So for 2 turns, you end up getting a debuffed unit. Now, when you're facing something that is very big and has 9 armor or 7 armor, you make it so easy to pump damage in on it. Doesn't even have to be that high. It could be something a lot less. I cannot state this enough. This is such an amazing ability. These 2 abilities together are very good, especially if you're using more of a melee type style of combat. You can get somebody in there, bring it down, and then beat the hell out of it, right? So that's yeah, those are the abilities. They all are fantastic. So the next thing, I will go over just the base stats here. She's got the stats of 225, which is actually fantastic. You look at the commissar at 200, she ends up with the 225, so 25 extra health. That's really nice. Action points are 2, HQ units, you end up with that. 4 movement, that's average. In terms of the armor, it's 4, which is average, and then the evasion at 15, which is, I would even say this is farther than above average. This is excellent, because above average would be like 5 to 10, and then 15 is like that added notch. With that, we're going to talk about the bolt pistol and the plasma pistol, starting with the bolt pistol. Pistol ends up with 8 attacks total. You end up getting 3 to 4 ballistic damage. Armor piercing is 1. Range is 1 to 3. However, optimal range is right up in her face at 1, and a base accuracy of 90. Here's the thing. The bolt pistol is it's just there. It's just an extra opportunity to shoot, to put a little bit of damage into something. I don't feel like the bolt pistol is that great. I don't feel it serves a great purpose with the models being heavier armor. One armor piercing your best bet is going to be facing something very, very minuscule. The next thing would be the plasma pistol. The plasma pistol has 3 attacks at 9 to 12 damage ballistic, armor piercing of 5, range is 1 to 3, optimal at 2, and a base accuracy of 85. Now this is a lot better. Plasma pistols, the fact that you do 5 armor piercing, anything that's a lower tier unit is going to get slapped in the face, and anything that's at the 5, right, you're going to get your max 9 to 12. Really, really good. I think that if you're going to get that upgrade, the cost of the upgrade is only 5 also. That's fantastic. I think this is way more viable and can get you some kills throughout the match. So next we're going to be talking about, so what you want to do with the Chainsword, specifically more with the Castellan, is you'd want to use it against smaller groups like this, the Gene Stealers. And the reason is because the output of damage, 33 to 45, is actually not bad, and you get to swing it twice. And then there's also that splash damage of 23 to 31. Now, with the Commissar, it's 3 attacks for less damage, which usually that splash, that's 3 swipes plus 3 splash damage, that's going to be better for something like this. But in the case of taking on a Gene Stealer, I'm going to do X amount of damage plus the splash twice. Okay, so 2 swipes ended up killing 2 of them, and just based on that metric, it should be able to do it again, which is more effective than what the Commissar was when he attacked the same unit. Yep. So again, this brings them down to 1. That's actually pretty fantastic. Now, if you're using this against a bigger unit, you're going to have less success. And the reason is because you're only going to attack twice for 33 to 45 damage on a 5 armor piercing unit. The thing to keep in mind when you're doing that is that you're not going to utilize that splash damage. Next, let's look at the Power Sword. So the Power Sword is a 1 attack, 82 to 110 damage on the first swing. You also get 1 splash damage of 49 to 66, and that's 8 armor piercing at 90 melee accuracy. Now, this is very, very good against bigger targets, and especially if you're talking about models that are coming into 3s. This is where you can hit one model, kill it, and then do either enough damage to kill the other model or almost about kill it. And then you can get an extra swing because she gets 2 action points. And then finally, the last one here is the Power Fist. The Power Fist is very powerful. The fact that she's able to do 2 shots that could equal up from a 93 to 125 at 9 armor piercing is phenomenal. Let's punch him in the face real quick, and then look at that. 1 punch. That was actually insane. He tries to hit, nothing. Okay, and again, it's just so difficult for him to do anything. I do it again. Boom. Not quite enough to kill him, and I'll tell you this though, we all know that was close. That was like a low end. That was a low end chance to hit us back. Keep in mind that the Power Fist is not good against just against multi units. So like facing these guys, the gaunts, they would not be good. Facing anything that's more than 1 unit is not good unless it's like a really low. Like, let's say there was only 2 guys left in this group, then fine. But there's no splash damage, so it defeats the purpose. And now for the main question, is the CADIAN Castellan a good unit? The simple answer, absolutely. Yeah, this is, to me, this is a no-brainer. Starting with the stats, if you're comparing her to the Commissar, right? You have to take what the Commissar does and what she does and say, is it more viable? And are the stats better? Starting out, the evasion goes up from 10 to 15, so she gets 5 extra evasion, 25 extra health. She ends up with getting a better pistol, which is another 5 cost, so that's going to be added on. As for her abilities, the well-ordered and embedded officers, she has more scaling with the embedded officers than the Commissar does. Granted, it's only +5 to the evasion, but it still is an upgrade. And then the voice command is it all depends on what you're trying to do with your army, and I think that can be said with most units. But the main thing here is that the accuracy buff, the +5 accuracy to everybody in a line, is so dang good. Every hit you miss can be devastating, especially if the odds are stacked against you. So having an extra chance to, a little extra chance to hit, a better roll of the dice, I think it matters. The damage is not the end of the world. It's not the craziest thing. The +1 damage, I do like that, of course, but it's not like, it's not crazy. Just if everybody can hit, I feel like that's a plus. Now, in terms of her actual abilities, they're more universal than the Commissars. For instance, the move, move, move order, right? If I tell somebody to move, that could be all the difference of a win and loss in a battle, based on what you're trying to do. If you need to make a melee, let's say I use a unit that has really high melee, well, I mean, if I'm using the ogre for a charge, right, I want to get that extra movement. I want to get a tank in place. I want to get my armored sentinel in place. Those type of things are massive, and it's just it can change the tide of a battle. It give you a better chance, right? And then the last thing would be bring it down. And bring it down is absolutely just ridiculous. You literally get to debuff an enemy. We talked about it here, but you get to debuff an enemy with -2 armor, -10 evasion, and that expires after 2 turns. It's a 3-turn cooldown, so only 1 turn do you not utilize that effect after the fact. Absolutely amazing. She can put so much pressure on the enemy. And she has that survivability of having, for instance, like ogres and any of the troops around her. Yeah, so with that being said, I think that she stands above the Commissar, personally. For me, my style of play, I would say that she fits more what I want to do. Although I will say the momentum of the Commissar is really, really good. I do like that. Or like using the show them steal ability with the Commissar. I feel like that's really good. I just feel that more of a universal move that I can use on just about anyone fits my game style a lot more. So with that being said, guys, let me know what you guys think. Is this a unit that you feel stands above the rest, or is she one that's kind of middle pack, don't really use her very often? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like, and I will see you in the next unit guide video.